Nest on the campus of Sacramento State. It is time for NCAA gymnastics, where tonight the Falcons of the Air Force Academy come to Sacramento to take on the Hornets of Sacramento State. Hello everybody, Brian Berger bringing you the action this evening as these two MPSF rivals meet for the second of 3 times this year. The first meeting came back on February 3rd at Air Force. Sacramento State lost that meet 194-7 to 193-6-5. Air Force rallied to win that meet by just over a point in that competition. Falcons were led in that meet by their star freshman, Kylie Green. She is the reigning MPSF Freshman of the Week, scored 9.8 last week, and then tied her career best with a 9.825 on floor. They are ranked 56th nationally with a NQS of 193.810, and that score places the team 4th in the MPSF this season. As we said earlier in that meet, Valandra Broshai, won the all-around with a total of 38.9, and then Green was close behind, 38.85. So a couple of very strong all-around scores for the Falcons carrying their way in that matchup. For Sacramento State, they come in having had success of late. The Hornets have picked up 2 of their higher scores of the season, and that have come in the last 2 meets where they've averaged 194.8. Redshirt sophomore Emma Morgenthaler has been a big part of that success. She ranks among the top 10 in the MPSF in 3 events as well as the all-around this year. She's currently 5th in the conference with an NQS of 9.79. She is tied for 7th on beam at 9.77. She's tied for 6th on floor at 9.85, and she is 3rd in the all-around at 38.645. She is also currently ranked 55th in the nation in the all-around as well. Hornets had a chance to get Sarah Luttrell back tonight. She was injured last meet at the home meet a week ago tonight as she sprained her ankle. They had thought about putting the lineup on bars. Instead, they're going to think conservatively. They're going to take her out tonight and a chance to have her back all around next week as the Hornets close out their home season with a 4-team meet here at the Nest against San Jose State, Southern Utah, and UC Davis. 3 teams that are off to a strong start this year, including a couple that are ranked in the top 36. Air Force has started strong this year, but has seemed to flatten out as of late. The judges all have them already. There's an extra one for the meet referee. As Air Force, they said, had been a steady team, but they have seen themselves fall in the rankings of late, down to 56, 1 spot behind Sacramento State in the latest NQS. They've been steady, but don't have a terribly high score this year, as their most recent competition saw the team compete against UC Davis in Denver. That was senior night for the Air Force Academy, and in that meet they scored 195-125, a very good score overall. However, it placed 3rd in that competition. Denver, a top 10 program in the country, and UC Davis has shown the ability that they can score at a very high level throughout this year. As in that meet, they both picked up big scores. Denver finished at 197-6-5. UC Davis 195-3, just to edge the Falcons in their home finale. From here, Air Force will close their season on the road. They will go to North Carolina, where they will take on UNC on March 3rd. They will then travel to Lincoln, Nebraska for a 3-team meet with Nebraska and Denver. And then Air Force will host the MPSF Championships. That will take place in Clune Arena, not the normal cadet gym, so it'll be a little bit different. That comes on March 18th at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And so the Falcons have been upstart over the last few years. They are led by Jennifer Green, their head coach, currently in her 3rd season, and they have been off to a strong foundation as she has built that program into one of the top upper half teams in the MPSF. Sacramento State, of course, led by Randy Solario in his 8th and final season as head coach. Nearly 40 years of experience here with the Hornets. And then Melissa Genovese, the former Hornet, is the associate head coach. Nicole Brandt, the assistant coach. Megan Kyle serving as the volunteer assistant this year. Mary Wan as the student assistant. Sacramento State will open up on vault. Air Force will start this meet on bars. The two teams will flip for the second rotation. Just a two-team meet. Next week will be the four-ring circus of four teams here at the Nest, as you will see all four events at one time. We will trade or attempt to rotate, so you will see all of the routines tonight, all 24 competitive routines, plus the exhibitions. And that works if the judges cooperate as well. It was perfect last week, and you will see all of it here as well here on ESPN+. If you're just checking in, seeing the Hornets, they are in their tie-dyed leotards tonight. It is their annual Tied Together meet. Used to raise awareness for inclusion here on campus and around the community. Something they do every year. You see the Hornets with their pink leotards from time to time. Last week they had the hair ribbons to raise awareness as well. And then tonight you're seeing them in their tie-dyed uniform, the leotards. Getting ready to start the 4-minute touch rotation. I'll begin in just a minute. The team's going through their final bit of warm-ups. Sacramento State coming off a score of a 194.975. That came last week here at home against San Jose State, which is ranked 33rd in the nation right now. The Spartans won that meet with a 196.625. Hornets were fairly close to the midway point, and then San Jose State closed very strong. A couple of huge scores in the final two rotations, a 49.275 on floor for the Spartans, and then a 48.775 on beam. That was what the Hornets scored in that rotation. In the final rotation, San Jose scored 49.325. So two scores well above 49 in the last two rotations for the Spartans, and that was the difference. San Jose was very good on beam. Three scores of 9.85 or better, and 9.95 as well by Emma Milne, and 9.925 also in that competition, and they were able to separate late in that meet to pull away for the win. But tonight, Sacramento State will look to get back on track. They'll take on an Air Force team looking to sweep the regular season series between these two teams. Air Force trails the all-time series against Sacramento State, but has had success of late. The Falcons have won 3 in a row, and that was after the Hornets had a 23-4 lead in the all-time series. So nearly half of the victories for Air Force have come in the last two seasons. Sacramento State's last win against Air Force February 4th. In that meet, the Hornets scored 194.225 to just beat Air Force by a quarter of a tenth of a point. And since that point, Air Force won at home on February 25th of last year, scoring 194.2 compared to the Hornets 193.625. And then they capped the season at the MPSF Championships, which is held at UC Davis, outscoring the Hornets 193.75 to 192.975. And then earlier this year, we said the 194.7 to 193.65. So they have won 3 in a row. They've won 6 of the last 7 against Sacramento State, and that is a trend the Hornets will look to stop as well. Let's set the lineups for you. We'll start with Sacramento State. They'll be on vault. It'll be Bella Lamidi, followed by Sarah Fitzgerald, Rylan Zimmerman, Grace Gilman, Tori Tavner, and Emma Morgenthaler. On bars for the Falcons, it will be Leilani Zander, Isla McKean, Madison Carlisle, Valandra Broshai, Amber Bowl, and Grace Nelson. Air Force is scheduled to have an exhibition on bars. That will be Kimberly Kincaid. The Hornets will not go with an exhibition on vault. as their numbers, as we said, been a little down with the injuries. Hornets were without two of their top competitors, Amber Coth, a 3-eventer, Peyton Gillen, a standout on beam 2 weeks ago. They both returned last week. Looked like the team was going to be back near full strength, and then the injury to Sarah Luttrell has kept her out of the lineup last week and this week. Luttrell, one of the top freshmen in the MPSF, along with Kylie Green, who we will see tonight in a couple of events as well. Hornets have not had a lot of consistency in the lineup, but you will see a little bit here on vault as they will go with the same 6 tonight. Lamidi, Fitzgerald, Gilman, Tavner, Zimmerman, and Morgenthaler. And that is how we will start. It will be Bella Lamidi going first, averaging 9.658 this year. Good strong start for Sacramento State. Chest down a little bit on the landing for Lamidi. Good height off the table. And we will see where the Hornets go from there. We'll bring you the scores as they come in. You see the replay. A little bit of a hop as well on the landing. And so now will be Leilani Zander for the Falcons.
For the Falcons, on the bars is Leilani Zander.
Zander, a sophomore out of San Antonio. As expected with the Air Force Academy, you will see gymnasts from throughout the country. There's always a recruiting challenge to meet the requirements of the Air Force and then getting athletes willing to serve their commitment after their career is done. But you said Jennifer Green has done an excellent job getting this program in the right direction. Just the dismount remaining, and a good start for Air Force as Zander sticks the dismount.
Next on the vault for Sacramento State, Sarah Fitzgerald.
It's going to be a 9.6 for Lamidi for Sacramento State to start. This will be Sarah Fitzgerald, the redshirt sophomore out of Mesa, Arizona. It's to be a 9.625, the final score for Lamidi. Fitzgerald now waiting for the go-ahead. Just barely gets a touch on the table, but able to stick the landing. And very happy with that performance is Sarah Fitzgerald. We'll go quickly back over to bars. Isla McKean next up. Still awaiting the score for Zander. And it's going to be a high one. You can see the second judge flashed a 9.85. First judge a 9.8, so a 9.825 right out of the bat. Right off the bat, that I should say, for the Falcons. And a strong start for Air Force. Isla McKean up next. Mounts to the high bar and underway here with routine number 2. Second stuck landing for the Falcons, off to a nice beginning here in this first rotation. Rylan Zimmerman, the freshman, up next for the Hornets. 9-7-2-5 was the score for Fitzgerald. Zimmerman. Again, you see a little bit of the chest down. There'll be a slight deduction, possibly a half step on the landing. We sit on the opposite end. We'll see here on the replay. And no, perfect stick. Just a little bit on the salute, maybe. We'll see if the judges give it. Might be a college stick. But a good vault for Rylan Zimmerman, who came in averaging 9.53. And that likely will end above her average. Air Force is going to go now to Madison Carlisle. We await the score from McKean. Okay. 9-7-7-5, the score for Isla McKean. And now Carlisle underway. Just a little bit of a jump on the dismount, but another good routine for Air Force. Grace Gilman up next for the Hornets. That will follow a 9-7-7-5 for Rylan Zimmerman. And that is a personal record for Zimmerman on vault. And Gilman, just a step off to the left there. Has that blind landing where she changes directions in the air. Faces away from the table. Can be difficult, much more difficult vault.
Next on the bars for the Falcons.
And you see just a slight step with that right foot. We're going to jump right back over to bars for Valandra Broshai. Broshai, a sophomore out of Round Rock, Texas. And a 9-7-7-5 the score for Madison Carlisle. So Air Force putting up some big numbers to start this first rotation. Falcons averaging 48.425 on bars this year, and they likely will have a number higher than that based off their performance of their first three. Just the dismount remaining for Broshai. And another stick for the Falcons. Grace Gilman is going to score a 9.675 before Tori Tavner, who is down the runway. And a very good vault for Tavner. Does have the hop and a little bit of separation on the landing.
Next up for the Falcons on the bars, Amber Bull.
But you could not have drawn up a better start for Air Force right now. Falcons currently at 29.375 before the score that is of Broshai, which looks like is going to be a 9.825. And so 4 scores of 9.775 or higher for Air Force to start the competition has them poised for a season high. And now we'll go with Amber Ball. And another good landing for Air Force.
Finishing up on the left for the Hornets is Emma Morgenthaler.
Hornets are going to close with Emma Morgenthaler. But Air Force right now is at a 39-2. Morgenthaler with the vault. Bit of a hop off to the right. That followed a 9.675 for Tavner. So Sacramento State very consistent as their first 5 gymnasts range between a 9.625 and a 9.775. Air Force also consistent, but in a much higher score level, as all 4 between a 9.775 and a 9.825, and this will be Grace Nelson who will anchor before the exhibition from Courtney Kincaid. So there'll still be one exhibition to come. The score for Amber Bowl was a 9.775.
Up next in exhibition on the bars for Air Force is Kimberly Kincaid.
And so Air Force having a very good start to the competition for Sacramento State. They close with a 9.8 from Emma Morgenthaler. And we will have one more exhibition still to come on bars. It will be Kimberly Kincaid. Hornets score 48.65 will be their final after the Morgenthaler score goes in. Air Force right now at a 48.975. And that will be a 9.75 for Grace Nelson with that hop. And so that score will not count towards the team total. So Air Force will finish at a 48.975. This is the exhibition from Kimberly Kincaid coming. And that concludes our first rotation, but a strong start for the visiting Falcons. They have a lead through the quarter post. They lead 48.975 to 48.65. The Hornets will go to bars. Air Force will move over to vault. When we come back, you're watching NCAA Gymnastics on ESPN+. See the updated scores on your screen right now. It was a good start. Actually, those are not the correct numbers. The correct numbers should be 48.975 for Air Force, 48.65 for Sacramento State. So those scores need to be flipped as well. But a good start for Air Force in the competition, getting off to a strong beginning right from the start. Leilani Zander, who scored 9.825 from the first gymnast up, a 9.775 from Isla McKean, 9.775 for Madison Carlisle. Valandra Broshai, a 9.825 to match Zander, and then a 9.775 from Amber Bowl. And then it ends with it dropping a 9.75, and then Kimmy Kincaid in that last routine, a 9.65 on the exhibition for the Falcons. And so A very good beginning of the evening for Air Force. Trying to check where that ranks on their season stats. They're having a bit of an issue with Road to Nationals right now working, which is the NCAA hub for scoring. But I would imagine it's got to be one of their higher bar scores of the year. Sacramento State a 48-6-5. So not a terrible performance by the Hornets. Sacramento State came in to this meet averaging 48.443 on vault, so above their season average. And so the Hornets in that first rotation, led by a 9.8 from Emma Morgenthaler in that anchor spot, counted a 9.775 from Rylan Zimmerman, which is a career high, a 9.725 from Sarah Fitzgerald, and then both Grace Gilman and Tori Tavner each scored a 9.675 as well. So we'll turn our attention over now as the teams flip sides. The Hornets will go to bars, so they're averaging 48.364 on the year, but have had success of late. Air Force at 48.318 on vault. And so we will come back in a second. We'll give you the lineups as we go to rotation number 2 here on ESPN+. Getting ready for the start of the second rotation. It'll be Sacramento State on bars, Air Force on vault. Let's give you lineups first for the Falcons. It'll be Isla McKean leading off, followed by Sarah Willis. Valandra Broshai will go third. Gabrielle Mesha will be fourth. Kylie Green, the reigning MPSF Freshman of the Week, will be fifth. Amber Bull, sixth. Grace Nelson will have the exhibition for Air Force. For Sacramento State, Tori Tavner will lead off, followed by Emma Morgenthaler. Sarah Fitzgerald will go third. Kara Houghton in the lineup going fourth. Bella Lamidi fifth. Amber Koth back and going sixth. Air Force has completed their touch warm-ups, getting a last bit of encouragement from their staff on the end of the runway. Hornets just wrapping it up. It'll be Air Force up first. And it will be Isla McKean, a sophomore from South Berwick, Maine. And quickly down the runway. And another solid landing for the Falcons. Chest down a little bit on the landing. And now will be Tavner for Sacramento State. Redshirt sophomore out of Gilbert, Arizona. And a good routine from Tori Tavner right out of that leadoff spot. Very similar to what we saw from Air Force in the first rotation. You can see a replay of the dismount. Double A and a perfect stick for Tavner. Air Force starts with a 9.7 on the vault from McKean. And now this should be Sarah Willis, freshman from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Very good vault for Air Force.
for Sacramento State is Emma Morgenthaler.
And for the Hornets, a start identical to Air Force, a 9.85 for Tori Tavner in the first routine of the lineup that ties her career high. This is Emma Morgenthaler. Emma competing in the all-around again tonight for the Hornets. And a little bit of a mishap there. Able to save it. Do not believe her toes hit the mat. We'll tell by the final score. And another perfect landing for Morgenthaler. The only question is going to be on that continuation through there. Did her toes drag? If so, that will count as a follow. It's a 9.75 for Sarah Willis. And now this is Valandra Broshai. Broshai able to execute. Bit of separation on the legs, chest down slightly. You'll see a little bit of a deduction. Good height off the table. Actually, chest not too bad. You did at the hop. And so now it will be Sarah Fitzgerald up third for Sacramento State. Morgenthaler's going to end up with a 9.65. For the Hornets, a 9.6 from Judge 1, a 9.7 from Judge 2, and now we'll go back to Sarah Fitzgerald. Actually, 9.675, excuse me. Fitzgerald on the way. Just gets it over, fly away, release, and a slight step. Broshai scored a 9.75. For Air Force, so that is their team's high. And that was Gabriela Mesha. Up next for Sacramento State is going to be Kara Houghton. Kara Houghton up fourth for the Hornets as we await the score of Sarah Fitzgerald. And it is going to be a good score for Fitzgerald, a 9.825. Mesha scores a 9.675 for the Falcons. So that is the low right now for Air Force. Houghton now on the bars for Sacramento State. Immediately into her release. Cast to a solid handstand. Just shy on that handstand, and on the double flyaway, able to stick. Quickly, we're going to go right back to vault. Down the runway is Kylie Green. And that is why she is the freshman of the week for the MPSF. Hornets with 2 gymnasts still to go. It will be Bella Lamidi and then Amber Koth. And a 9.875 the score for Kara Houghton, and that will put her into the lead on bars and also be a career high. On vault, the last score for Kylie Green, a 9.75 from both judges, as Lamidi has mounted on bars. Double tuck, bit of a step with that right foot. Be a slight deduction for Lamidi. Didn't quite get a tight tuck either. Nearly set it down, able to step back and hold it. This will be Amber Bowl on vault in the anchor spot for the Falcons. And a solid vault for Air Force, currently sitting at a 48.625, so very similar to what the Hornets scored. They were at 48.65. We'll see if that score goes up. They're low right now, a 9.675. And now will be Amber Koth, the anchor for the Hornets. Koth was named the MPSF Specialist of the Week this past week, in a night she had. A 9.925 on beam, ranked second in school history, became the first gymnast ever to receive a 10 from any judge on beam in that performance. She also was very solid on vault and floor. And surprisingly, almost amazingly, it was the first MPSF honor for Koth. She has been in a first team All Big Sky selection, 6 times All MPSF, 6 times All MPSF, first, second, or third team, but had never been named an MPSF Gymnast or Specialist of the Week until this week. Double tuck, gets the landing, huge salute. And we'll see where the judges go with that. Perfect landing for Amber Koth and Sacramento State. This is the exhibition on vault. Grace Nelson. It was a 9.675 for Amber Bowl. So Air Force will end with that score at 48.625, just behind the Hornets 48.65 on vault. And over on bars for Sacramento State, Bella Lamidi with a 9.725. So Sacramento State currently counting a 9.675 from Emma Morgan-Thaler. That was before the Amber Koth score, which will be turned in right now. And the Hornets right now at 48.975. This score could possibly push them above 49, and indeed it will. A 9.875 for Amber Koth, which ties a personal record and gives Sacramento State a team score of over 49. Waiting for it to populate on my screen. 49.15 the score for the Hornets, and they will take a slight lead at the midway point of the meet. They lead 97.8 to 97.6. We're going to take the break. We'll come back, get ready for the third rotation. The Hornets go to vault, or to beam rather, and Air Force on floor. This is NCAA Gymnastics on ESPN+. Back here at the Nest, midway through this dual meet between Air Force and Sacramento State. Both teams on pace for a big score, as right now it's the Hornets leading 97.8 to 97.6. Despite what the graphic on the screen says, it is the Hornets in the lead by 0.2 of a point. And in that second rotation, it was Sacramento State, which basically followed the blueprint led by Air Force, and where Tori Tavner led off with a 9.85, and then it built from there. Emma Morgenthaler had that slight miscue, a 9.675, then Sarah Fitzgerald with a 9.825, Kara Houghton a 9.875, Bella Lamidi with a 9.725, and then Amber Coth matched Houghton with a 9.875. The two of them will win the event title. And then over for Air Force on vault, it was a 9.7 from Isla McKean in the leadoff spot, 9.75s from Sarah Willis and Valandra Broshai, Gabrielle Mesha 9.675, Kylie Green a 9.75, and then Amber Bowl a 9.675. And so the individual vault title will go to Emma Morgenthaler with a 9.8, Rylan Zimmerman in second, 9.775, Sarah Willis and Broshai will tie for third with a 9.75. And so that is where we stand at the halfway point. We'll take another break. We'll come back with the lineups for the third rotation here on ESPN+. Back here at the nest, a strong second rotation for the Hornets on vault, on bars, 49-15 the score for Sacramento State. And that is one of the better numbers for the Hornets this year in the event. Trying to do a quick scan of how many times Sacramento State has broken 49, and in fact, this might be their season high, and indeed it is. It went 48-9-5 last week against San Jose State, 48-8-5 the week before against UC Davis, and so they have edged that up slightly each meet. And now they break 49 for the first time at a 49-15. They lead by 0.2, but he said both teams on pace for a mid-195 score if they can continue through these final two. However, we know Beam is the great equalizer, and that is where Sacramento State will start here in this third rotation. It'll be Grace Gilman, Emma Morgenthaler, Rylan Zimmerman, Kara Houghton, Peyton Gillen, Amber Coth, and Sarah Fitzgerald in exhibition. For Air Force on floor will be Isla McKean, Brianna Carswell, Gabriella Mesha, Kylie Green, Valandra Broshai, Alexa Cabot, and Gianna Martina on the exhibition for Air Force. And so first up will be Gilman performing on beam. Gilman this season averaging 9.704 on beam. Has a high of 9.9. And starts the Hornets off with a solid routine. And so it will be McKean for Air Force. In that leadoff position. That was McKean for Air Force in that first position.
For the Hornets on the beat is Emma Morgenthaler.
And now will be Emma Morgenthaler for Sacramento State. First score in for Sacramento State, a 9.775 for Grace Gilman. This is Morgenthaler already up on the beam for the Hornets. It's her series. Bit of a wobble, but able to hold on the spin. And Morgenthaler there for the dismount.
Next up on the floor on the Falcons is Brianna Carswell.
Brianna Carswell next up for the Falcons. 9-8 was the score for Ayla McKean. A little bit of a step back on that pass. One final pass remaining for Carswell. Double tuck. And Air Force 2 for 2 on floor. And Rylan Zimmerman now up for Sacramento State following a 9.75 for Emma Morgenthaler. So 2 routines in the book for the Hornets. 9.775, 9.75. They want to stay at their current pace. They will have to pick that up a little bit. Zimmerman has been the wild card this year. Back in, has had some ups and downs on the event in her freshman season. Executed her series perfectly there. A little bit of a wobble on the leap. He does it, kind of gets the connection. So Zimmerman able to complete the routine for the Hornets. Just barely stood on that dismount, had a step there. That foot was coming off the side. The score for Carswell is a 9.725. So Air Force now with 3 scores excuse me, 2 scores of 9-7, 2-5 or better. This is going to be Gabriela Mesha. Another hit routine for the Falcons. That was Gabriela Mesha. And now over on beam for Sacramento State will be Kara Houghton. Second of 2 freshmen in a row for the Hornets. And the score for Zimmerman is going to be a 9-4-7-5. And so the judges did not give her the connection as she was hoping for with that redo on the Leap series. And a score the Hornets will hope not to have to count. They'll have to go 3 for 3 the rest of the way. It will start with Houghton. Able to fight it, but stay on the series. Dismount coming. And a good performance for Kara Houghton for Sacramento State. The score is in for Gabriela Mesha. And it is a 9-7-5, but a 2/10 separation. Judge 1 only gave a 9-9 start value. Judge 2 a 10-0. So a possible inquiry coming for the Falcons. This is Kylie Green. Green from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Back-to-back passes. Another solid routine for the Falcons. That was Kylie Green. Hornets are likely going to be, the Falcons likely going to have 4 scores of 9.725 or higher following that routine from Green. There is a conference going on Beam right now regarding the score for Kara Houghton. The 2 judges meeting on the mat. Usually means there's a difference in start value, and so they are going to try to hash that out. It will be Peyton Gillen up next. It is Gillen and then Amber Koth. Still waiting for the score, and it's going to be a 9.825 for Riley Green. For Kylie Green. 9.825 the score. That puts her at the top of the leaderboard for Air Force through 4 rotations. The score is in as well for Kara Houghton, and it is going to be a 9.7. And now Peyton Gillen is on. That score for Houghton was a career high. A little bit of a wobble. And Gillen gives the Hornets the routine they needed. A little bit of a wobble in there, so you'd expect something in the 9.7 to 9.8 range. We'll see where the judges go with that. And this will be Valandra Broshai. I stepped out of that series just a little bit on the dismount. And a slight step. Final pass. And again, no major deductions for the Falcons as they will open 5 for 5. The score for Peyton Gillen is a 9.8. And that is what Sacramento State needed to try to stay in contention here in this meet. And now will be Amber Koth. We said last week, Koth with a 10 from Judge 1, a 9.85 from Judge 2. A pretty large discrepancy. Still resulted in a 9.925, the second highest score in school history. hits the series. She always does, using every inch of that beam. Into her leap series. Fights it a little bit out of that second leap. Able to hold on. And a good routine for Amber Koth. It will not be the 10 she had last week, but a still solid performance for Sacramento State. The score for Broshai, a 9.825, and so Air Force just continuing to pile on solid numbers on floor, and this will be Alexa Cabot in the anchor spot. She was a last-minute switch. They flip-flopped their exhibition and their anchor. She was moved in to the 6th spot and will perform with Air Force already having scored 48.925 on floor. And likely that will go as a fall as the hands touchdown for Cabot. Cabot able to stay up on that pass. A good routine likely will not improve the team total of a 48.925. Amber Koth does score a 9.9 on beam for the Hornets. Apparently just that little wobble in that leap series, all the judges took off. And so that will be the high score for Sacramento State. It will be a significant improvement towards the team total as it will replace the 9.475 and take Sacramento State to a 48.925. And so the two teams will remain even through 3 rotations as far as the deficit remains. Just a 2/10 lead for Sacramento State at 146.725 to 146.525. However, remember there could be an inquiry out for Air Force as they had the start value differential on one of their routines early on. Fitzgerald fell on her series there for the Hornets in this exhibition routine. And the last score is in for Cabot. It is a 9.125. So that will not go towards the Air Force total. That routine by Fitzgerald, the exhibition, completes the series for Sacramento State. Air Force will have an exhibition. This will be Gianna Martinia. Martinia, freshman from Littleton, Colorado. One of 3 Colorado natives on the roster for Air Force. They have athletes from Texas, Colorado, Georgia, Arizona, Oklahoma, Florida, New Jersey, Maine, California, Michigan, Massachusetts, and Illinois. So that concludes the third rotation. As it stands right now, it is a 2-10 lead for Sacramento State, 146-725, 146-525. Both teams scoring 48-925 in that third rotation. And it will come down to the last one. Air Force goes over to beam. The Hornets will head to floor, and we'll have it for you when we come back. You're watching NCAA Gymnastics on ESPN+. Back here at the nest, sorry for the momentary delays there. We had a little issues with power at the table. There was an inquiry in that third rotation. However, it was Sacramento State, and Grace Gilman has seen her score raise up to a 9.825. So the Hornets finish beam with a 48.975. Air Force 48.925, and I also believe that we will have an inquiry on floor as well. And so we'll see if that changes for the Falcons. Still trying to figure out the power issue here. We scrambled to run a couple of extension cords to get back on the air. It will be Air Force heading over to beam. Here in the fourth rotation, they will open up with Brianna Carswell, Philandra Broshai, Kylie Green, Leilani Zander, Amber Bull, Ayla McKean, and then Kimberly Kincaid in the exhibition. For Sacramento State on floor, it's going to be Anna Leroy, who is back in the lineup for the Hornets. Bella Lamidi will go second, Kara Houghton third, Grace Gilman, followed by Emma Morgenthaler and Amber Koth. Tori Tavner will have the exhibition for the Hornets tonight. So a little bit of change in the lineup for the Hornets. Anna Leroy back in. She performed exhibition last week. Leroy opened on floor. She was the first up against UC Davis, the season opener, went second in the next 2 meets, then out of the lineup before coming back as the exhibition last week. And she will lead off here tonight for the Hornets. Not sure if we're going to have a change on Air Force. The judges are still conferring. The Hornets did pick up a half tenth, so they are at 146.775. And I can tell you with this change in the start value, this is only going to go, it's going to change. It's whether it's going to go up or whether it's going to go down. You can have one judge with a 10-0 start value and one with a 9-9, and so they're either going to agree on the 9-9 or they're going to agree on the 10. You have seen it backfire occasionally. More times than not, it does go up. And so we will see when that score is brought back over. Judges are still conferring on floor. And in the meantime, Brianna Carswell is up.
They changed the exhibition score, but you don't need that, right? Because exhibition.
Fine. On beam. Carswell with the series, able to hit it. Carswell with the leap connection. Able to fight it. Just the dismount. A good start for Air Force once again as Brianna Carswell starts the Falcons off strong, and now the Hornets will attempt to match with Anna Leroy. And a gymnast, a lot of fun out there in her routine. A little bit of a step coming off that front tumbling pass. Final pass. Came out of it a little bit. Let's see where that scores for Anna Leroy. It was a 9.775 for Carswell to start the final rotation for the Falcons. And now will be Valandra Broshai. Broshai. The solid routine again for the Falcons.
Next up on the floor for the Hornets is Bella.
Hornets find themselves in a quick hole. 9-5, 7-5 the score for Anna Leroy, and so this will now lead to Bella Lamidi. Lamidi a little low on that tumbling pass, able to stick the landing, or it would stay up on that landing. You can see the disappointment in the face of Lamidi, not happy with that last pass. Broshai with a 9.85, and so Air Force quickly out of the gates on beam. And they have taken the lead back from Sacramento State. Remember, they were just a little over 2/10 behind. Another hit routine. This is Kylie Green, the freshman. The Hornets get a 9-6 from Bella Lamidi. And just like that, it is Air Force that has suddenly opened up a lead on Sacramento State. As they have a 2/10 lead of their own at 166.15 to 165.95. A lot of time remaining in this fourth rotation, though. It's the third gymnast up. Freshman Kara Houghton with the routine the Hornets were looking for out of that number 3 spot. A 9.825 was the score for Kylie Green, and so the Falcons continue to pull away here in this fourth rotation. The Hornets likely will have an inquiry on Lamidi's routine, as one judge had a 9.8 start value and the other at a 10. This is Amber Bull. This is Leilani Zander, excuse me. Zander keeps it rolling for Air Force on beam. The Hornets do be at a little bit of a break as Kara Houghton scores a 9.85. And that is a personal best for her on floor. And now will be Grace Gilman's turn. And so halfway through this fourth rotation, it is the Falcons up by .175. Grace Gilman converts her first pass. Gilman may have stepped out of bounds, did not see a hand go up. Definitely had an extra hop out of that pass. A little low on the landing, able to avoid a major deduction, and so Grace Gilman starts the back half of the Hornet lineup. For the Falcons, it was a 9-7 from both judges for Leilani Zander, and so now will be Amber Bull. Bull able to save it, a very unusual move there. Morgenthaler is going to be up, following a 9-7 2-5 from Grace Gilman, and so the Hornets still down by a 10th and a half. And this one could come down to the final routine. little bit of a step out of that double pike. So Air Force got a 9.825 from Amber Bull. Morgenthaler will likely have to match that to give the Hornets a chance going to that last rotation. We will see. We have been told their inquiry has been turned in for Bella Lamidi's routine. This is Ayla McKean in the anchor spot for the Falcons. Their current low right now, a 9.7. So anything above a 9.7 will help the team total. Currently at a 48.975 on beam, the same score Sacramento State received. Good routine from Air Force. That was their anchor spot from McKean, and now it will be Amber Koth for the Hornets. Sacramento State trailing by a 10th and a half. And so Koth will need to score a 9.725 to tie. Anything above that would give the Hornets the win. Score for Air Force's Ayla McKean is in. It is a 9.85, so that is an improvement. And so Koth's going to have to go much higher than expected to give the Hornets a chance to get the victory. We will see what the math. Hornets are currently down 3/10. And so she would have to score a 9.875, or Lamidi's score will have to be adjusted. It is a 9.85 for Koth. So it will come down to the inquiry. So one more routine still to go for Sacramento State. They should have an exhibition coming, I believe. It should be Tori Tabner. Although it does not appear that she is going to go, so maybe we will be done. She still has her warm-ups on. And so we'll just come down to this inquiry. We'll take a short break. We'll come back and we'll give you the results. When we return, you're watching NCAA Gymnastics on ESPN+. Well, since the last time we talked to you, the scores have not changed. The judges still conferring on the far side. And so as it stands right now, Air Force would be victorious at a 195.65. The Hornets at 195.625. There is the inquiry on Bella Lamidi's score, and that will be the difference in this meet if it is approved. Lamidi, as it stands right now, had a 9.5 from Judge 1 with a 9.8 start value and a 9.7 from Judge 2 with a 10.0 start value. As we said before, either they typically have to have the start values match, so it's either going to go up or Judge 2's score will come down and meet Judge 1, and we will await the decision here in just a moment. And so the scores do match. It is a 9-7 routine for Bella Lamidi, and that puts the Hornets on top. They will win this meet with a score of 195.725 over Air Force 195.65. That inquiry proves to be the difference in the competition, and the Hornets will pick up the win and stop the losing streak to Air Force in the process.
We have a tie-dye stuffed animal as the prize for tonight.
You can see the annual handstand competition on the floor with the kids. Once this is done, we will have awards ready to go.
Go! Longest handstand wins. And if you exit out, please clear the floor.
See the final results on the screen right now. It is the Hornets that prevail 195.725, 195.65 over Air Force. And that score for Sacramento State, their highest of the season. And we'll give you a look at the award winners as well. In third place on vault, a three-way tie, all from Air Force: Sarah Willis, Valandra Broshai, and Kylie Green, each with a 9.75. In second place, tying her personal best from Sacramento State, Rylan Zimmerman. And the winner on vault from the Hornets, Emma Morgenthaler, with a 9.8. On bars, the Hornets take all the top three spots. In third, Tori Tavner ties her career best with a 9.85. Amber Koth matches her best, and Kara Houghton sets her career best as they tie for first at a 9.875. On beam, two-way tie for second, both from Air Force, Valandra Broshai and Ayla McKean, each score a 9.85. Amber Koth, the winner, at a 9.9 for Koth, another career win on beam, and another score, her seventh now, above a 9.9 on the event. And then on floor, a tie for third from Air Force, Kylie Green and Valandra Broshai, and from Sacramento State, Emma Morgenthaler. They each scored 9.825. And then a tie for first, Amber Koth with a 9.85, and then Kara Houghton sets her career best with a 9.85 as well to win the event. In the all-around, it is Valandra Broshai, the winner, with a 39.25. Ayla McKean in second, 39.125. So two very strong performances for the Falcons, both above 39. And then Emma Morgenthaler for Sacramento State finishes third with a respectable 39.05. Very rare do you see three 39-plus all-arounds at this level, but that is what you got tonight. The teams are making their way back out to the floor. You'll have a chance to check out the awards being presented to them as well. Reminder, our next home meet coming up next Friday as the Hornets have senior night in a 4-team meet, San Jose State, Southern Utah, UC Davis, all here at the Nest as they will round out the home season. From there, the Hornets will compete at Cal on March 12th, and then wrap up the season March 18th back at Air Force against in the MPSF Championships against the Falcons, Alaska Anchorage, San Jose State, Sacramento State, and UC Davis. We thank you for watching tonight's presentation here on ESPN Plus. Enjoy the awards ceremony. We'll see you next Friday.
First, scores from the vault. Three-way tie for third place with a score of 9.75, all from the Air Force Academy. Sarah Willis, Valandra Broshai, and Kylie Green. In second place with a score of 9.775 from Sacramento State, Rylan Zimmerman. And in first place with a score of 9.8 from Sacramento State, Emma Morgenthaler. The results from the bars. In third place with a score of 9.85 from Sacramento State, Tori Tavner. And we had a two-way tie for first place with a score of 9.875, both from Sacramento State, Kara Houghton and Amber Koth. Results from the B, two-way tie for second place with a score of 9.85, both from Air Force, Ayla McKean and Valandra Broshai. And in first place with a score of 9.9 from Sacramento State, Amber Koth. The results from the floor. We have a three-way tie for third place with a score of 9.825 from Air Force, Valandra Broshai and Kylie Green. And from Sacramento State, Emma Morgenthaler. And we had a tie for first place with a score of 9.85, both from Sacramento State, Kara Houghton and Amber Koth. Results of the all-around. In third place with a score of 39.050 from Sacramento State, Emma Morgenthaler. In second place with a score of 39.125 from Air Force,